Hello guys, what I want to show you here now are the benefits that you would be getting out of these single ultra spun articles, and I would explain to you exactly what I mean by a single ultra spun article. So basically what you would do is you would submit a POR article or some article of yours, which then would be manually rewritten to produce a completely different version from the original that you have sent us. Then the manually rewritten article would be put manually again into Spin format, which would produce an article in syntax format that is much different than the usual junk you would be getting if you just automatically hit the button of any spinning software and have it substitute certain words with synonyms that may occur to be totally unrelated to the meaning of this particular paragraph, sentence, or even the word itself. What we would do then is that we would put certain words, actually we would make certain words and certain phrases optional, then we would make certain sentences optional, and then we would make certain paragraphs optional. What does this mean? It means that these would occur in some variations of your article, but they would not necessarily occur in other variations of your article. What would this do for you is that it would contribute to you getting a number of articles that would be completely unique from each other. Here is actually the end result that you would get. Now the manually rewritten version of the article that you would submit would definitely be accepted by ezinearticles. This is absolutely guaranteed. Then the original rewritten version and the variations that you would get out when we put them in Spin format would be free from grammar and spelling mistakes. Bear in mind that these would be absolutely perfectly human readable articles. So these articles again are not being produced by just hitting any button there and having the software, the spinning software itself, choose certain synonyms for certain words. This is done absolutely manually, giving it the necessary care and attention. Then the rewritten article of the POR that you would submit is guaranteed to pass copyscape 100%. What next you would get is at least 100 variations. Usually our experience shows these would be actually 160, which will be at least 50% unique from each other. Now please notice this, I'm not talking here 50% different from the original, I'm talking 50% unique from each other, and they would be at least 350 words long, which would meet the criteria of any article directory you want to submit to. Now here is an actual paragraph of one such article that we have written for a customer, and I'll be using this paragraph to show an example of what exactly you're getting. Now please notice that area that I'm highlighting here. This is how the syntax would look like that would actually make this specific sentence or this specific phrase that I'm highlighting now optional, which would contribute to the uniqueness of your article and to having the major search engines index your content just because in their eyes this is absolutely unique variation of your article. So basically again what we would do is we would carefully check which sentences would make sense to make optional, which phrases would make sense to have them being optional, and also which paragraphs of all of the complete article would really make sense to appear in certain variations, but you could very well skip them in other variations of your article. Now I'll be using here a tool to show you the similarity between these, which we may very well be aware of. This is Spinner Chief. So basically I'm using here the batch compare function of Spinner Chief. I have already unspun 50 variations of this paragraph. As you're noticing here, the different variations of the article are clearly, you can clearly see that they are different length. So basically what has happened here is that because of this special type of syntax, these articles are actually pretty unique between each other. So basically what I would do also here now is I would use a threshold of 3 words and not 4. Why 3? Because 4 words is usually the copyscape algorithm. So basically if you want to make sure that your article would pass copyscape, you should not have more than 4 words in a sequence in a sentence that would be actually the same. I would make this threshold even bigger, and now checking the articles I would use the 3 words sequence as a threshold. Basically here is the end result. As you can see, the articles are much more than 50% unique from each other. What you see here in the similarity column is actually how similar they are. So as you see, most of them are similar around the 20% threshold, which means that 80% they're different from each other. So again, have a look at this. Actually you're getting a result much better than the 50% threshold, which is usually the one necessary for your articles and the variations of your articles being accepted to the major article directories. Now let's check how readable this text is, because as I've already promised you, these would be absolutely human readable articles. So have a look at this sentence, for instance. It suffers, by the way, from some wordiness in the beginning, but then now let's have a look at the second sentence. Okay. Alright, now let's look at the third sentence. As you can see, this is perfectly human readable text. Okay, so this is not just the usual automatically spun junk that you are getting most of the time when you hear the term spinning and spinning articles. So let's now compare it to another article. Let's say this one, number 12. As you can see, the length of the paragraphs of these two paragraphs are actually, you can clearly see that these are different. So this is again the result of this optional feature that you are getting in the syntax format of your article. Now let's compare it to a third one. Okay, and let's compare number 12 and number 20. Okay, as you can see, even the length of these paragraphs is different. And now let me show an example of a sentence that's present in one of the paragraphs but is missing in the other one. Let me just look carefully again. Okay, so which one? Alright, there it is. Okay, so this sentence, you can see it's in variation number 12 of the paragraph. Okay, but let's see whether you can find it in variation 20. No. Okay, so this contributes to the percentage of uniqueness, and it contributes a lot to the percentage of uniqueness that you would be getting out of this spin format that you would put your article into. Okay, so what you are getting is two variations of the same article that are pretty different. Let me just check this into the actual comparison that we did already using Spin Achieve again. So let me find this one. Okay, there it is. Number 12 and number 20 are 25% similar. So basically what you're having here is not 50% difference. Okay, this is 75% difference. Again, bear in mind that this is using the 3 words sequence and not the usual 4 word sequence that copyscape requires to consider certain piece of text on the web being unique. So this is very much what also the search engines use, but in this case, as you saw already, you have pretty high percentage of uniqueness using a much more strict threshold than the usual copyscape one.